Welcome to the Shikama Live Show with your host, Shikama. This is not a sermon. I am not a preacher. I'm not a priest. All will be revealed to you in this video. All. A lot of you have questioned me. Here's the video you need to watch. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. That's the King James version of the scripture. The New International Version is, for our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. I think that actually makes it less clear. I don't know if you like the New International Version. Now, a lot of my atheist subscribers will immediately click off. A lot of the dumber atheist subscribers will click off. But let me say this. The best atheists are those that know the Bible better than me, because they're atheists knowing why they are atheists. I've had very long discussions with atheists who said, I left the church. I was a insert religion of your choice, and insert that they studied the Bible. And that's why they became an atheist. No knowledge is bad unless you're a fool that is led by knowledge that captures you and you don't know where it came from and what the intent was for. Keep that statement in mind, because it's going to apply to everything that we're going to talk about. I am not an atheist. I am an apostate. Now, for those of you who are confused, or for those of you who think that belongs to something else, Jehovah's Witnesses use this word a lot when they leave the church, but it has nothing to do with Jehovah's Witness. It simply means leave the church. Martin Luther, who was the founder of all Protestant religions, technically was an apostate, but he left the church to form his own religion, which actually promoted Christianity, which was started by the Catholic Church. So all he did was turn right around and form his own version of the Catholic Church. His big deal was all of that power should not rest in one man, but here's where that guy is a hypocrite, and here's why everybody who follows him, all the Protestant churches who follow him, a Protestant means Christians who are protesting against the Catholic Church. So all of the other Christian religions, you're on the other side of the same exact coin of Christianity. And a lot of you say that Catholicism isn't Christianity, which is ridiculous, because it's the Catholics who run around with Jesus on the cross and they put it around their neck and they pray with it. It's just Jesus. And you say, oh, they're into idolatry. Oh, careful there. Careful there. Do you not have a cross too on your necklace? That's idolatry. Do you have a cross on top of your church? That's idolatry. Oh, people in glass houses should not throw stones. The foolishness and ignorance of you saying that this Christian religion isn't Christian enough for you, and they're demons. But your Christian religion is not demons. They're idolaters, but you're not an idolater. Okay, let's turn that microscope right around and look right at you. I don't want to get into this discussion, but I will for just 2 seconds. You're idolaters too. You know who aren't idolaters? I mean, if you want to get technical, being a Christian is idolatry. Why? Because a lot of you haven't read your Bible, apparently. When you get down into the nitty-gritty of the scripture of what supposedly Jesus Christ said, and for you atheists who don't know this or don't want to, this is exactly what atheists argue with me about, although I'm not on the other side of the coin. So, because I'm an apostate, I'm not an atheist. I'm not a Christian. The reality, you get down to the nitty gritty, and this is why I've already said this. And this was a big schism in the world, but they don't teach you this in Sunday school. They don't teach this to you. That at the council, they declared Jesus was a god. Everybody else, and this was split the world in two, the entire world, all of Asia, what you call Eastern Europe, all of Asia, split in two. Okay, so Western Europe versus what you call Eastern Europe and Asia, that includes the Middle East. I don't know if they told you that. Middle East is not a continent. What? I know. This is the Near East. That's what the Middle East is. It's the Near East. Japan is the Far East. China is the Far East. Anything east of what? Like Germany or something like that? I believe it was Germany. I think that's where the split goes. That actually starts Asia. So from Rome West had declared that Jesus was God. The rest of the entire Christian world, and they still call themselves Christian, said that Jesus was merely a man, and Jesus never said that he was a God. Yeah, but you're saying, but the scripture says Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the light," right? No, he didn't. He didn't say that. Somebody added that in there. Oh, you don't believe that? Yes, somebody added that in there because they had declared that Jesus. And here's where Martin Luther comes in again. The Holy See of Rome, which is known as the Pope, the Bishop of Rome, which is known as the Pope, declared that Jesus is God and that he, the Pope, was the only way you could get to Christ, to God, through him. And that was the other part of the rebellion of Martin Luther. Because they now declared that Jesus is God, then they had to go and then rewrite Holy Scripture. And this is why I'm an apostate. Because the rest of you Christians, the rest of you Catholics, don't even understand that you're reading a revision of a revision of a revision of stuff just to appease people who want to be in power and have authority over you. Now, I am an apostate that left the church and unveils the truth of all religions. None are safe in my book. Phil Robertson of Duck Dynasty was reviled by the public for saying homosexuality is a sin, but then he also listed 7 other sins and said that none of them are acceptable. So when he said adulterers should not be embraced, nor should homosexuals, nobody cared that he said adulterers should not be embraced. Nobody cared that he said that murderers should not be embraced. Nobody cared that he said that thieves should not be embraced. Nobody cared that he said that gluttons should not be embraced. But when he said homosexuality should not be embraced, oh my God, whoa. What are you saying there, Phil? How dare you say that? That homosexuality is a sin? By definition, it's a sin. That's like me saying, I am black. By definition, I am black. You would simply be pointing out, I have a Mexican friend, a mechanic, a group of mechanics, and they get a kick out of saying, oh, él es negro, and they get a kick that I don't get offended by. I said, well, and they say, are you negro? And I go, yeah. I'm guessing that in Mexico, it's an insulting word to call a person that. They say moreno, which is more of a brownish person. But then in Mexico, you can call almost the entire population, quote unquote, moreno. They don't run around calling people white because that's reserved for gringos, So any extremes is insulting. So you wouldn't call a person white. You would call them the blonde hair, although most white people don't have blonde hair. But the translation is that's a blonde haired person. And then even that can be insulting. Now, Phil Robertson went on to say he loves the sinner, but not the sin. This is all the same conversation now, meaning he loves homosexuals, not homosexuality. So clearly the guy wasn't the bigot he was portrayed to be. But in this day and age, you can't be an intellectual. And that's the whole point of this video here, is that I'm trying to say I'm an intellectual. And when I say stuff, people who are juvenile, who are dumb, who are stupid, who are uneducated, don't understand that. Ready? I love black women. I don't like this, and this. I don't care about people who have sex with the same gender. I don't like the homosexual agenda, which has lobbyists and get laws passed which actually contravene everything that the country stands for, which is freedom, including the freedom of religion. I'm an apostate, but I don't care that you're a Catholic. I don't care that you're Jehovah's Witness. I don't care that you're Jewish. I don't care that you're Muslim. I don't care. Don't care. Doesn't faze me. Shikama is an apostate. I'm not spreading apostatism to the world. I'm gonna spread the truth, but I'm not saying you be an apostate along with me. Don't care if you are, don't care if you're not. Don't care if you're atheist. Don't care if you're agnostic, and those two are different. A lot of atheists who are ignorant try and claim both apostates and agnostics as being atheists. Even Christians claim the same thing. Those are words have actual meaning for me. I speak English and I speak it very sort of purely, and every word actually has a real meaning, and I use that word to mean exactly that. And a lot of you are so lazy and so uneducated, which is insulting to me, that you could be an adult and you're uneducated about the language that you speak, that you're so lazy that you just sort of use words. Well, it means the same thing. It does not mean the same thing. Woman does not mean the same thing as lady. It does not mean the same thing as female. There's a meaning behind lady. I got into several arguments over the word lady. That people, well, that's a lady. That's feminine. She could be butch and shave her head and wear flannel and wear pants, and she could still be a lady. No, she cannot. The word has a meaning. It represents something specific. That's why we made up the word. Notice that you're using the word butch. It has a meaning. It means something specific. That's why the word was invented. Even slang terms actually have meaning, and you're trying to convey that through communication. You're so friggin' lazy these days that you don't even, I can't stand people who complain about friggin' foreigners trying to speak English, and I speak enough languages to understand what the foreigner is actually trying to say, although they're missing all sorts of grammatical stuff. But you're an American, and you're complaining about the foreigner. You don't even speak English. Oh, and that goes for white, blue, black, green, or purple. You call yourself an American, speak English, understand vocabulary. And words have meaning. They mean stuff. This age of people being just completely ignorant, I cannot stand it. I hate it. And I hate the people who just go along with it. And that's the whole point of this damn video. Me ranting about this is exactly in tune with what this damn video is about. You women, you're being used. You people who have sex with each other, you're being used. They don't care about you. This homosexual agenda isn't about you, nor furthering your quote-unquote rights. It's actually taking you away from your rights. You are losing your humanity, not gaining your humanity. If I were president, all of them would be gone. All of that crap would be gone. You want some equality? I will give you equality. You don't want equality. Your agenda is trying to do something other than equality. You're not looking for human rights because you don't call it human rights. Because if that were the case, you would call it human rights and everybody would have it. Notice that single straight people do not have the rights, and it's not a right. They don't have the privileges afforded to them by private entities that are trying to get their dollar. It's not about you. Single straight men don't have anywhere near the privileges of single straight women. And neither single straight men nor single straight women have anywhere near the privileges, and it's a privilege. They're privileges. They're not rights. A right is something that you can do without affecting anybody else. Do you understand that? A right is something that you can do that does not affect anybody else. Nobody has to pay for it. And in fact, you don't have to pay for it if you want to get technical. And that doesn't mean that somebody paying for you means that you're not paying for it. It means simply that nobody is paying for it. Freedom of speech is a right. It does not take somebody else to help you have freedom of speech. The right to pursue your happiness doesn't take somebody else for you to pursue your happiness, which means that you cannot go around forcing doctors to do something. Healthcare, first of all, is a man-made thing, man-made concept, man-made profession. You cannot force a doctor to come treat you for free. That is not a right. That's a privilege. Healthcare is not a right. And don't say it's 2016, everybody should have health. No, that is a stupid concept that was come up by somebody who wants to be in power. And if you read the fine print, they're going to say, oh, we're going to give you free healthcare, but you owe us your firstborn. And if you're homosexual, then the bottom has to be, you have to give us the bottom in the relationship. We get another man or a whole another woman. You have to give them up. Free healthcare. College is not a right. College degree, not a right. All of these agendas have nothing to do with your humanity. Nothing. And the worst is the feminist agenda. That whole third wave thing, that is just outrageous. Now, me saying the agenda is terrible and awful and same thing with Black Lives Matter. If you want, I've said it many times, maybe I've danced around it, maybe I've given you, this is the origin of it, but here I go. I hate Black Lives Matter. It has nothing to do with black people. 70% of the people in Black Lives Matter are white. It was started and formulated and funded by George Soros. Black people, George Soros, do not have your best interest at heart. He has zero love for you, and he gives 0 Fs about you. If you died today, he would not care. You're talking about Black Lives Matter. If you died today, he doesn't care. If you got shot by a police while you're unarmed, oh, and I did read a statistic that the majority of the people who are shot unarmed are in fact black. There you go. There's your stat. There's a raw data that says that police shoot, as far as unarmed goes, black people more than anybody else. That's cholos, chicanos, whatever. White people. But when we're talking about, since we're going to go into this just 1 second, the people who are shot more by police than anybody else, 10 times as much. And when I say shot, I mean shot dead. I don't mean shot in the leg. Shot dead are white people, 10 times more than anybody else. But they don't report that on the news because you all would probably riot. You'd probably beat down the Black Lives Matter and start your own White Lives Matter. Or you'd probably just get all your militia and just, have your own, start that revolution that you're so hoping for. These agendas aren't trying to promote your humanity. They're not trying to promote equal rights. And they're not trying to stop bigotry. That is not the agenda. That is not the purpose. Feminism, homosexuality, Black Lives Matter, any other thing. Throw them at me. They're not there to promote your humanity nor to stop bigotry. They're definitely not here to promote morality, because if we went down the moral thing, all of them would fail. All of them. What's the agenda of Black Lives Matter? Tell me. To get police to stop shooting? That's not the agenda. Oh, I don't think you got the memo. I'm telling you, that's not the agenda. You have been played for a fool. Literally. Now, why did I go into I'm an apostate? I'm an apostate because I read the full doctrine. I've read the Bible cover to cover many times. It was part of my punishment. I didn't get spankings or what else, or the timeouts. Timeout, that sounds funny. Timeout does nothing. Actually, absolutely nothing. Timeout only does something if your child gets completely angry and the child is intelligent. Those two things have to be in effect. Then you give your child this is internet dad talking now. Then you give the child a timeout. Why are you giving the child a timeout? To calm down. And they have to be intelligent enough for after they calm down, you go and talk to them and they talk about what the problem is. If you have a stupid child, and I'm sorry to tell you, but children can be stupid. They're humans. There are adults who are stupid. So don't give me that your child isn't stupid. Your child's stupid. If your child cannot reason, a timeout is the worst possible thing that you could do, because all that does is a stupid child will get more angry. So make sure you tailor your punishment to the correct child. Children are individuals. Their punishment should be individual. I'm an apostate because I read the doctrine, and I read the origin of the doctrine. Not just I read the doctrine. A lot of atheists will simply read the doctrine and go, I don't believe this crap. This is all crap. There was no Jesus historically. Zero. There was no human called Jesus, the Christ of Nazareth of the Hebrews. Never was alive. Not on the face of the planet. But I go even further. I go to the origin of the actual scripture. The origin. When did who wrote this verse? And it was all done by the Romans to promote a Roman religion as opposed to the African religion of the Egyptians, who promoted Ra and Osiris, and to be as a counterattack to the Persian Mithraic religion. Knowing this, that's why I'm an apostate. So literally, they made the same exact religion using a figure from 300 BC called Serapis Christo, adopted him in the 4th century, no less, and then by the 16th century, that's when they made the Bible. You thought that all happened in the 3rd and 4th century? No, it didn't happen, because some of the books weren't even written. Yes, you literally have books that were written in the 16th century that you are being told was written in the 2nd century, and it's a lie. It's all a lie. The whole religion is a lie. You're really going to go crazy when I say Moses didn't exist or Muhammad didn't exist. I'm sure you will go out of your complete mind. Didn't exist. As far as I know, on the face of the planet, Buddha is the only person who actually existed. And why do I pick Buddha? Because he actually existed. He was the son of somebody rich, and went and sat under a tree, and after touring India and seeing poverty and stuff, he was really struck by that because he was a rich kid. And not only was he a rich kid, he was a spoiled rich kid. Then and that's why he went on the tour, and then he said, "Oh, that's terrible. These people are poor. Oh my God, they're living in trash." Went, sat under a tree, and then came up with Buddhism, which say, be better, do better, don't chase filthy fiat currency. Be a better human. That's it. Don't worship anybody. Just be a better human. That's the message. And that's actually the message that supposedly Jesus Christ said. Be a better human. And he said, don't worship. He, at every instance, 5 different accounts says, don't worship me. Don't worship me. Don't worship me. Don't worship me. What do the Catholics turn around and do? Oh, let's worship him. Oh, and what are the Bibles? What are the books of the other people who were supposedly close to Jesus said? You all got it all wrong. Had nothing to do with him. He was trying to promote Buddhism in the Western world, but you all didn't want that. You all wanted somebody to worship because you all want to be like the Africans, where they worshiped their king. And Europe has always been jealous of Africa because this whole thing of worshiping their king was all across Africa, all the way down into South Africa. But in Europe, no. Who, that guy? He's just the king. He's nobody. How dare you? I'm of royal blood. No, you're not. You're Sam. You beat up Phil. And Phil's not even that strong. He's like he makes like cloth. You hit him over the head with a sword. Why would we worship you? You're not even worth our respect. In Europe, they beheaded all their kings over and over and over and over and over and over and over. But they what's odd is they would behead the king and then declare somebody else as king. It just didn't get any stupider than that. Stupider, dumberer. It doesn't get more dumb than that. Understand that being an intellectual means that you can distinguish between words. You can distinguish between concepts versus people. Homosexual agenda, concept. Homosexuals, which I disagree with you even calling yourself that. I think it's a label and I'm completely against. Homosexuality, concept. Homosexual person. I don't believe in homosexuality. I believe sex, especially in 2016, is fluid. For all of you granola, hippie, flower child, love child, and I'm not talking about the 1960 hippies. I'm talking about 2016 hippies who want to say, well, I feel like a dolphin today. You got to call me Dolphin Steve, Dolphin Mary. Okay? Yes, Dolphin Mary. Yes, Dolphin Steve. I think the sex in 2016 has become so blurred, and here's where you've shot yourself in the foot. You've promoted this thing to such a degree now, and promoted that you have to address us like this, you have to do this, but now if we accept it all, we say that sex is fluid and you still don't get rights, because it has nothing to do with human rights. It has everything to do with you wanting a privilege. So I don't believe in homosexuality. I believe sex is fluid. Literally, I believe that if you are presented with sex at the time that's what's going on. That's it. It doesn't define, right? That's what you want. That's what the hippie flower children granola people want, huh? Oh, a girl, okay, bam. A guy, okay, bam. Wait for it. A child, bam. Ooh, shots fired. Yeah, I think in 2016, sex is fluid. If you are of that mind, and understand that there are people who are not fluid. So I think it should be the fluid movement. Still, you don't get any special rights and privileges from that. You get human rights and privileges. If I were president, I'd tell you it would be human rights only. And what does human rights say? Human rights says that a single straight man does not pay for birth control, for his insurance, the health insurance. He will never, here's the reality, he will never take birth control pills himself. So why in the heck is he paying for birth control? Well, I think you want to have women to have it. No. I don't want that. If you want birth control, pay for birth control. That's why God made jobs. I'm being funny. That's a joke. But it's a joke insofar as me saying God invented, it's a ridiculous joke for ridiculous people. God invented jobs so that you could have your own money. And guess what? You can then take that money and buy whatever you want. What does that mean? What's the alternative to money? Chickens. If you raised chickens and you took your chickens and you said, I'm now going to go trade for birth control pills, the guy who makes the birth control pills, he might not want chickens. In fact, he might have said, you know what? That was 100 women ago. And she gave me 50 chickens. She plucked them, flash boiled them, plucked them, de-blooded them, and gave me a deep freezer to put them all in. I am full for 5 years. I'm good. You have anything other than chickens? No. That's the alternative to money. So now you have money, and you can take the money, you can buy whatever you want. And because you have your own money, the government can't tell you when, where to go, how high to jump, all this other stuff. It is not good for men who are single to be paying for some woman. Wait a minute. It's not good for a single Amish guy. I know the Amish aren't involved in our taxation system, but bear with me. Let's go Mormon. It's not good for a single Mormon guy. Let's assume that the Mormons are like the Amish for a second, just for giggles, who is a virgin, and he's going to marry a virgin, and they're going to stay virgin until they do and have their children. And their taxation, all that sort of stuff is not going to go out of their church. And in fact, she is never going to use birth control ever. So she shouldn't be paying for birth control, and he shouldn't be paying for somebody else's birth control. What's the real agenda? The real agenda is that birth control people want to receive money. That's the real agenda. Has nothing to do with you women. It comes full circle. You're not getting human rights. You're getting used. Does that mean I hate women? No. Do all the videos of me talking about certain types of black women mean I hate black women? Nope. Love me some black women. Love them to death. Not literally, figuratively only. Love boobies, love butts, love calves. Calves, that's my spot. You have a nice calf. Hopefully, if you have a nice calf, you have the thigh that goes with it. Perfect. Okay, but that's not something that I want shown off. I was walking down the street the other day, and here comes this hooker. I'm sorry. Here comes this woman dressed like a hooker, and she said to me, she's dressed like a hook, right? If I put on a police uniform, what are people going to think I am? If I put on a pilot uniform, what are people going to think I am? If I put on a breathing tank, a wetsuit, underwater goggles, what are people going to think I am? If I have a life raft under one arm, red shorts, a whistle, sunscreen under each eye, and shades, what are people going to think I am? So why is it you're going to get offended if I say that a hooker came walking up the street? She looks like a hooker. She is dressed like she is wearing shorts so short, I can see that she's about to be pregnant. And she's behind me. She has walked past me and is behind me because I've now turned. Hello. I'm like, first of all, that's not the proper way to greet somebody. You don't greet somebody from behind. We're not friends. And why would I want some ratchet hooker? I'm not a hooker. You are dressed like a hooker, right? And yes, I stole that from Dave Chappelle, but it stands to reason. You got a midriff shirt and booty shorts on, and swishing and swaying like I don't know, like you've got a venereal disease or something. You got a rash that you're trying to scratch as you walk just from walking. No, that's not a good look. I have to say, I looked like freaking what's the black guy on Celebrity Weight Loss? What was that name of that show? And Saved by the Bell, Screech was on there, and that black sergeant guy said, I don't care about this show. Don't you ever call me. Well, I had my muscle shirt on, and I've been working out. Yeah, that's why she said hello. She wanted some of this. Anyway. Anyway, I've lost my mind. Thank you all for watching the Shikama Live show. Do you get it? Do you get it that I think all of you are being used by your own little agendas? And now they've perfected this. It's like, just like they have perfected white supremacy, this is all a part of the new way of capturing people. So now it's not just black people that they capture homosexual, they capture black people, they capture black people a new way, and they capture women. And they pit everybody against each other. I'm a homosexual, I need special rights. I'm a woman, I need special rights. I'm a black person, I need special rights. Or rights, period. I mean, let's get real about it. Rights, period. Cop shooting. You know what? That, and what's your end goal with the Black Lives Matter? To get cops to stop shooting you? That, you would have to completely fire every cop. Every cop. Every cop? Yes, every cop. Every cop, every police chief, every DA, every judge, all of them. You would have to revamp the entire system. Are you prepared to do that? Do you have the capability of doing that? Do you have the power to do that? Is there somebody you can talk to who can do that? And the answer is no. So literally, you need to put on a necklace of Saint, what is his name? Saint Barabbas? Saint Jonas? The patron saint of lost causes. You all need to put on that necklace, all of you, including the women. Because the whole feminist stuff, that's a complete lie. Every talking point that the feminists put up is a complete lie. You can simply just believe the opposite of what they're saying is true. Wage gap, complete lie. In fact, the wage gap goes the opposite way of the higher up you go. So the richer the woman, the higher her position, the more power she has, the more money she makes over men. So a man in the same position, power, and prestige makes less money than women in that same position. So yes, you can believe the exact opposite of everything that a feminist says. You're being used, you're being played. That doesn't mean I don't like women. That doesn't mean I don't like men. Wait a minute. I'm not fluid. You know what I mean. As a former priest, a real priest, not these weirdos. As a real priest who believed in holiness and piety and innocence, you all already know I'm very innocent if you've followed my channel. I used to have, or before the 10,000 came, I used to have all of my online mothers, who would tell me, now, Shikama, this is what you do in this situation. Okay. And they'd be on Facebook, be like, okay, make sure you drink water today. You seem a little dehydrated. You know, I love that stuff. Whatever happened to women like that? Where did they go? Can you all stop the feminism and just go, okay, let's go back to being women. We'll go back to telling men what to do. Oh, you didn't know that, did you? That's what the women did before. And go back and watch some old shows. And the dutiful husband was dutiful because he had to obey his wife. I keep saying, whatever feminists say happened is the complete opposite. So the dutiful husband was, oh, okay, dear. All right. Bingo. Okay, we'll go to bingo. Fur coat. Okay. A string of pearls. Okay. All right. New car. Okay. Shopping on Saturday. Okay. Movie. Okay. Dinner. Okay. Babysitter. Okay. Dutiful husband. That's how it was. And even still today, they still make jokes like that. Up, trimming the hedge. Gotta go see my wife. I'll see you, Phil. All right, bye, Phil. All right, Steve, bye. These are white names. This is a white scenario. This is a white scenario. Suburbs. The white guy is trimming his hedges, talking to his neighbor. And then the wife calls. Phil! Okay. Coming, honey. Huh? I know. You don't meet those women anymore. They all have to have. And I'm going to do another video. And the question is, are women today more immature than men? That's for the next topic. You could answer that now or later. Thank you for watching the Shikama Live Show. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.